Hey, how you guys doing? Let's see here. I want to check something out before we get started. Okay, let's do this thing. I'm gonna attack the bishop. Okay, let's see, what do we got here? Should resign here. Yeah. Nah, I'm good. I appreciate the offer, but we're good on that. Let me see here. That's interesting. We'll just keep this just in case we need to do something. Oops, I have to do the Simon game. I knew I forgot something here. So let's look at, oh sorry, Tatev's game. What in the world? Alright. Let me see. Okay, I gotta flip the board here. That's right. That's funny. Okay, then I gotta do Simon's as black. We're doing the French. Then we're gonna do the London system. Okay. Okay, let's see what do we got here. Alright. We're gonna do Tatev. Oops. Sorry about that. I need to, that's right, I need to bring up my, sorry about that. I need to bring up my thing on this side. Come on. Dude, lag on me now. I knew there was something missing. Let's do this here. Okay, let's see how we're doing. Alright. Okay, black is Tatev and white is Ergist. Come on. Okay, E4, E6, D4, D5. This is the normal French. And she does the Winier, which if you wanted to do the Tarrasch variation, you could just play there. Tarrasch. Oops. This is more of a class. Sorry, more of the classic. Sorry, I forgot about that. That's the Tarrasch. That, and then if he plays here, you play there, and then that's usually they bring the knight there, and then you can take. Knight takes, and something similar to this. But she played the Winier, so. This is actually the Winier Poison Pawn variation. So let me just get a sip of water real quick. We'll get started. Now this pawn's under fire. This is protected. Potentially, if this bishop moves, this pawn's going to fall. White's in a pretty amount of problems right now. Now the bishop's under fire. This pawn's under fire. This knight can come in and bring that under fire. Everything's under attack right now. It takes. And now Tatev is threatening to win the queen with a potential knight back here to infiltrate into d5. So the king moves out of the pin, but now remember, this knight move doesn't really have any applicability. Now this knight to c4 does, because it forks the bishop. And as well, if the bishop takes here, the rook will take back, and there's still a potential, there's also that there too, with winning the rook. So this is a big attack. So the rook has to move. Then h5, queen takes, and then now we're infiltrating in with a potential knight here, and we can win the bishop bring our rook over, and maybe we can double. We're actually better here. This is much better for our thing. So potentially maybe knight king e7 or king d. Probably more likely king d7 is best. Then you can double up your rooks. But I don't think you really get anything after that. So maybe knight to j4 is better with the attack on this pawn, and then infiltrating in that way. That might be better. See, then he covers this square here, so that's not plausible anymore. This idea here, because that's covered. Bishop b3, rook e2, king d7, and rook a1. So now what we have is potentially we can pry open the king side with a5. But I don't know if that's best in that scenario. Maybe knight to d7, but then he could trade, so maybe that is best, because then we can lock down the position with that. We can actually, if he trades, we can then take back here and lock. But then he has, boy, if we move here, he takes there, we take. He does have that. But then we can actually play up, and then if he takes here after that, then we can take back. We still have a bind, so I think we're okay either way. Now why did he take with the rook? That's kind of odd. That's really odd. I think her opponent was afraid of that and there forking these 2 points. But let's see what the computer says is best here. Yeah, this actually is losing. Oh, threatening mate there. Wow. This is pretty interesting. Then you take there. There's no real checks. You can't check there, so I think she missed that. This is actually totally owning. And you just walk this down. Probably you could do that. Well, that's mate 10, so I kind of see why it cuts him off. Then here, then you play there. Okay, you have to cut the king off. Then when the king comes back, now you cut him off even more. You cut him off even more. He only's got one move, and then okay, sweet. You use your rook. Nice. These pawns really come in handy. Okay, that was Tatev's game. Now we're going to do Simon Williams, and we're going to see how that plays out for us. So let's do this. So if he plays e4, e6, d4, d5, knight c6, knight f3, bishop d7, c takes, bishop takes, and then d3, bishop d3. And now f5 is very, very important of a move. This is more of kind of like a London, not really a London setup, because the bishop would be right here, but it does have what looks like somewhat of a kingside attack. So this kind of stops, and if e takes d, which does, the knight takes. So this actually is beneficial for black. You're probably asking why. Because the pawns that were here are no longer, the pawns on e5 and d4 are no longer there, so this allows for the freeing move of e5 at the right moment, of course after castles. Of course, you know, we know castles first, then e5, and this bishop's free to roam free. And this was actually in the French, this is black's worst piece, the light squared bishop. So if you could get it free or exchanged off for white's best piece, the bishop, you're doing good. So it's either free that it can get out, or you exchange it off for the light squared bishop. You're a winner either way with that. So queen to e2 to take advantage of that, and bishop, hey, how you doing? Bishop d6, g, and then castles. Now if bishop takes knight, we have rook takes, or maybe even better, queen takes. Potentially queen takes might be best, because then that allows us to flow over, and it also connects the rooks, so it gives us a little more protection on the, if he takes here, we take here, we have the ability now to push e5, and then, e5, and then e4 with a fork. So we are actually in control at this point. Queen, bishop c7 2. Hey, e5. There we go. Now the party is getting started, and we're loving this. And this is protected. This is protected. This is so sweet of a game. It's so free for black. Black has all the chances of a win here, and white's in a bad situation right now. Yes, this bishop is supposedly attacking along here, but this bishop counters that, and we also at the right moment have a5, a4. If he plays a3 and then retreats back, doesn't really much matter. We have expanded on the queen side, so we're good either way. Now we have expansion on both sides. We have one in the middle and on the side, which is perfect for us. Knight bd2, queen c7 is huge. You're able to play at this point. Sorry, I was thinking e4, and the knight can't take, because then we could take back here, because the pin is no longer on the queen. So this frees this knight up, the f knight, to guard that square for this push. So the bishop kind of has to hightail it out of there. The king moves. Now this pawn is free, so that we can now bring our bishop to g4 and pin the queen, the knight to the queen, and then have the applicability of this. Now e4 is more powerful than ever if we had a pin on the queen, because the knight can't move. Then we got it. Yep, it's right on c7 now. That's the sweet idea. Yeah, exactly. You put the rook to e8 or d8. Yeah, Yeah, this you can do either one of these, but the center is so solid for black that nothing's going to be able to blitz the center. We have full control on the center. The queen side has no chance. The king side, if it does get advanced, it just benefits us because then it allows a knight to come in there. So to g4. So king h3 is huge. Not huge. I mean, h3 is okay. It's not the best. It's kind of he has to make a kind of flight square. I mean, he has to push this. Otherwise, what would happen is we could play here, and when the knight moved, we can grab that pawn. But that'd be kind of a little risky because he could trap our bishop, and that happened with Bobby Fischer. I think it was in game 2, if I'm not mistaken, with Boris Spassky that he kind of took the pawn. I think it was the h2 pawn, and he thought he can get his king over there in time, but it didn't work to get the bishop out. So you can learn from history of players. That is true. Well, if he castles long, we can just tear the position open that way with d4. So we have two advance points. If he castles king side, we can tear open the center with e4. If he castles queen side, we can tear the position open with d4, and then rip this open because the king's going to be here. So we can have a discovery. If he takes here, we can have a discovery and win the queen. I know after I play h3 in this kind of position, castling is short is asking. Exactly. I agree with you. I agree with you totally on that, Fox. It's like saying bring it on, and when black has such a strong position like this, you don't want that to actually I'll just do this so that you don't want to allow castling on the king side because you're going to get stomped into submission, and that's not fun. Mainly now this knight move is saying, like what you're saying, Fox, that he's going to be castling queenside because he's trying to get all of his pieces over to the king side to attack. But that still actually fails if he castles right now. D4 is really strong here. Castles queenside, attacks the bishop, and he's going to have to take back. When he takes back, you can actually take with the knight. I'm sorry, you can actually take with the knight. You don't want to take with the pawn, because then you have a discovery on the king here, and then you have an attack. Oops, discovery. Come on, give me a. There we go. There we go. And then you have an attack here, because the king's here and the rook is here. So the king would be there, the rook would be there, and so you'd lose the queen. So you have to be really careful. White really can't castle at this moment. He will get destroyed if he does. And so Simon's like saying, you want to castle queen side? I'm just going to rip the queen side to shreds, so that when you take here, castling queenside would spell the death of white. So he moves, and boom! Now the queen side is going to start collapsing. He takes, and then the bishop. Now we have some attack because he knows that more likely white's not going to castle queenside now because of this wreck of a structure that he has. It'd be really not wise to castle queenside with how this pawn structure is. You're just asking for to be crunched, especially with this pawn like this knight here. Oh man, I wouldn't castle queenside. That's like horrible. So the queen goes to c4. Really, if the king was here, it would have done something, but not anything right now. And then e4, it's like, you know what? Fine, take my bishop. I'm going to take your knight with a discovery. I'm taking your knight with a discovery on the king, so take it. Come on, I dare you, take it. And when he does, then we can now take back. See, this would be a horrible decision to actually take here, because you could take there, and then when the king moved, you take here, and you have a fork on these two pieces. So knight takes, and then in comes the knight. Now we're ready to implant a knight on d3, and this is gonna win a pawn, weaken the queen side dramatically, and it's just going to be a very sad position for his opponent. e6, and there's really this covered, that's attacked. So what? He gets a, if he gets a the rook. Simon has so much attack. It's all about the initiative at this point. If he takes here, we can just drop our knight right on in, and we're now the one that's pushing the question. If the king moves up, boy, that would not be a wise decision, because then we could play here. There's a lot of attacks, so taking would be actually a very foolish decision, because then he has that. And let's see here, what could he actually play? Probably takes there, and the queen would have to run, we'll say, here, and she's almost trapped, so she has that. Let's see here, what could we actually do? Let me see. Probably we would have to at this point take, and then now we have a point of attack here. So yeah, I think we'd be fine. There we go. Yeah, this would not be a wise decision either, because actually, let me see if he. I think, yeah, if he took there, that'd be very bad, because first you can drop that in on him. He'd have to come there, and then now you have that. Oh boy! And if he plays there, you just open that. You just open that up. If he takes there, of course, you got mate. So the queen would actually have to give its life up to save the position, and yeah, that'd be not a fun position. Yeah, there we go. So the queen's about to, the queen takes here, which the queen can't, so that's forced. There's that. And now all the pieces are starting to flood into the attack. You gotta love it. And yeah, it's not fun to play this anymore, because I believe that's almost mate. We're close to mate here. Yeah, I believe that ends in mate. Let's see, what would they, because it's mate 2, I know it is. I'm trying to find the correct mate 2, because you gotta place your knight properly. I think the knight, oh, okay. Does that matter? No. Does that matter? Wow, he has 3 mates. He has there. Yeah, there's really no way to evade mate at this point. Sweet. Okay. So what were, oh, you played as black, okay. So you did the Queen's Gambit declined, which is actually pretty popular. It's really a popular opening at this present time. Yeah. Yeah, usually what would happen at this point is if he played his knight out. I've seen Nakamura play here, and then if he plays there, you can actually potentially either advance Fianchetto or play here and get ready for the opening of that. I've seen that before played by Naka. Do we want to take with our knight? Because this allows, that keeps that diagonal open. So maybe taking with the knight would have actually been a even if he plays there, you're still fine because you can play here. If he plays there, you still have that, and if he takes there, you can play here. So you should be okay for an attack, because then you have that as well. Yeah, but you never really want to if you don't have to. Yeah, you don't really want to. Yeah, I don't know how it kind of violates your fianchettoing in the first case, because it's to dominate this open file. So I'm sorry, a diagonal. Dominate the H1 to A8 diagonal. You blocked it, but I think I see what you're saying. It's basically central control at that point. And we have, yeah. Then you at also at this present moment too in this game, you could play C5 like what you're saying, and that would open that up. I don't know. It's a double-edged idea line. Interesting. So you're trying to go sweet that now this is power right here. You gotta love that, because even if he attacks you here, you can drop your knight back, and the pawn has already been advanced, so it doesn't stop your it doesn't stunt your attack. Yeah. Ooh, wow. I guess that I see that is kind of a beneficial move, because you are trading off his best bishop for the knight, but it is somewhat closed. So that was pretty silly on his part to actually do that. He traded a knight off for a bad bishop. Yeah, I don't understand why he did that. That wasn't a very a wise decision. How many moves did that knight move? Let me see. Hold on. Let's see. It went 1, 2, 3, 4. But you had to move your queen, so we'll just count it as 3. So 1, 2, and 3. So 3 moves for a piece that only moved 1. That's a waste of time. In lines, Jeremy Silman talked about how time is actually an imbalance too. So like if he trades a piece off of yours for, it took him, we'll say 3 moves, your 2 tempos or tempies ahead in that line, because his knight, now this knight would love to have had one of those tempo or tempies to have moved here, but now his brother knight, other brother knight, is gone, and so it's pretty not good now. I don't like his setup. Yeah. And as well, like what you're saying, the knight did hold his position. He could, your opponent could state that he did get rid of the one of the bishops, so the 2 bishop advantage isn't as important. But I wouldn't have traded such a powerful knight for such an inferior bishop, though. That's just my opinion. Yeah, that move you played right there was actually a very good move, Fox. I like this move. This is actually really strong. This takes advantage of all of White's inadequate play. He's now going to have to castle queenside, otherwise this is going to just tear him up, or tear your opponent up. So d3 is played. Okay. So if now he's really in a problem. Yeah. Why did he take? That it does not make any sense taking. He's gonna have to play queen to d2, and then you have the applicability right around. Yeah, he blundered. This right here is the move that destroys the opponent, because now he has to play there to keep that in play. And so what you're gonna have to do is now you can reroute your bishop into his position and really cause some damage, or play rook c1, I mean c8, and potentially at the right moment, or maybe even knight to well, maybe even better than the pawn move, maybe knight here. I think that's the best now that I think about it, because then you have that. But he can actually take back, so I'm not sure if that's enough counterplay for that. No, I don't think so. I think we have to wait a turn for a sec. I think we gotta wait just for a sec. Yeah, but I'm thinking that at this moment now, c4 makes practical pretty good sense here, because then now you could play c, and at the right moment, or wait a second, would it be beneficial for us to maybe double? I'm just trying to figure out if he plays like that, is it beneficial for us to double? We could even do this, which would be an interesting move, which would be g4. And if he plays g5, g4, now we can move. Oops, my bad. That would have been a blunder. We then now have the ability for a double attack here. That's the move I wanted to play. And so he can't really save both points. He could try to save that, but then we come crushing in with a mate threat. So he's going to have to move there. Then we check, and he's going to, let's say he moves that. Actually, he doesn't want to move there. That would be a blunder. Now we have there, and then let's say he moves here. And now we can actually push on. Yeah. Now this is destroying. Yeah, this is destructive. There's no way that he can hold. He's gonna have to play there. Actually, he can't even play there. His bishop's lost. Yeah, it's all over. Well, I guess he could play. I have to go back. Guess he could play there. What could we do after that? I think we're still okay if we retreat back here, but I'm not sure if I like that. Do we like well, we could actually play bit. Oh, this is that's a good move. Yeah, that's the move. Okay, yep. We found it. Yeah. Yeah, I was trying to figure out, yeah, bishop d is it's actually the winning line. So if he takes here, you take there, and he's going to have to move over here and let me see, what do we want to play? Yeah. Trying to see if we can't take advantage, yeah. Yeah, but I'm trying to see if there's anything better than that, though. Is there anything better? Do we have anything that's better than that move? This seems kind of radical, but I think that move might actually not be a bad idea. Because then if you take there, I don't think there's really any other way. I guess he's gonna have to push here to kind of make some space for his king. But I still think we have mate there. Let me see. Let's play here. Let me see. What can we play at this point? Probably here. Then if he plays there. Well, oh, we have that he has to intercept there, and we have mate. Yeah. Ooh, yeah, that's better. Yeah, I missed that. Good find there. Good find there. Yeah, I missed that. That was funny. Such a simple move right there as mate. Yeah, your opponent was toast, and that there was no way that your opponent could have held. It was over. Check with the engine. Let's see. Which part do you want to check with the engine at? The knight takes. Is it you want to check with this point? Where would you like to check? What move line would you want to check on? Oh, after bishop d3. Okay. Let's see. Where's the bishop d3? Oh, okay. All right. Let's see here. Let's see. So we want to check to see Where's bishop? I'm trying to find my bishop d3. Hold on, maybe I'm missing some. When the when the pawn went to d4. Oh, gotcha. I mean d2. Bishop d3. Well, the line we were just looking at. Okay. It wasn't playing. Yeah, that's what I'm trying. I'm trying to figure out which line we. Let's see here. Let's see. I think it was. No, is this it? This can't be the line. Not that line. Snap it. Oh, bishop. There you go. Bishop d. No, that's not. That's not it. Let's erase that. I have so many lines here. I'm trying to figure out which one. I'm looking for bishop d3 here. Just give me 1 second. Bishop d3. Bishop d3. Bishop. Ah, here we go. There we go. I got that line. Took me a second, but we found it. Bishop d3. Okay. There we go. Yeah. Yeah, it's saying that this is the best line. Yeah, you want to keep this, so you're gonna play something like that. Bishop takes there, and then if he takes here, and now the king's cut off, so there's no way this king's gonna get out of this attack without some sort of sitch problem. Oh yeah. Oh, I see. Yeah, this is kind of it's my chess center area that I have, and I do have a lot of my suits for my schooling back there. So I figured, you know what, I have extra space. I thought, why not use it so that I have accessibility for all the my you know suits. And there's also some stuff that I have to move out too a little bit. So let's see. I think that's it. And do you have any other games? Because then let me see. I'll pull up a puzzles. I'll be right back. I'll let you guys can look at some puzzles and solve this just for a sec. Okay, so let's see. Rook to f6. Alright. So then, so if he did that, then pawn takes. So bishop takes, queen takes. I'm thinking, I kind of like, no, that wouldn't work. I was thinking about somehow drawing the king there, but we can't because this knight. That actually would work. Well, maybe. I'm trying to see, because if we take here, sorry, take there, he takes here, we take there. He can't take here. Well, he could take with well, he could take with the queen, couldn't he? And then after queen takes, bishop takes. That is true, because then we do have a potential. Yeah, let's see here. Let's relook at that idea, because that does look really appealing at this moment. Okay, let's see. This would be gone. That'd be gone. That'd be gone. Be gone. That'd be gone. That'd be gone. Oh, sorry, that would stay. Yep, we would be up a whole piece, wouldn't we? Well, no, I'm sorry, this would be gone. And that would be gone. So we would actually have a bishop and no, knight and bishop versus a rook. Well, knight and bishop and rook versus two rooks. Yeah. You always have to. I'm always looking for those lines of because you know what? It's sometimes the most simple move to begin with is actually the right one. But what you have to. Yeah, I'm seeing if they're okay, because this line, like what you're talking about, Fox, I believe you're right. This does work because when we play the queen takes, bishop takes, and then rook slides over. Sorry, rook not. Sorry, I gotta get the right arrows. I don't know if we. I'm not. I think we're still back to this setup here versus this. Everything else would be traded off. We'd have this. I'm trying to figure out maybe if we take to begin with. Because there has to be, maybe we're thinking way too fast. Maybe it's not takes. Maybe it's takes there to begin with. Huh. Let's see here. I don't think that the bishop would actually take. Well, let me. Because if we take there, I guess that does work. Let me see. If we take there, and then let's say he takes here, we can actually bring this rook over. And if he takes there, we actually take back. Yeah, I see what you're saying. We do win. We do win a. Yep, you're right. That does win. Huh. Surprisingly, I'm thinking if he plays there, we play here. And I think we're still okay in that line. Oh, you're right. Oh man, we just moved the rook. That's silly of me. You don't have to attack the bishop. Just move the rook. Duh. And you're up a whole piece. That makes sense. Duh. Let's see here. Okay, bishop. Okay, let's see. Hold on. Let me see. Bishop takes. Let me go back here. So bishop takes, queen takes, rook takes. Okay, you're looking at bishop takes here. Okay, bishop takes here, and then now you have a pin. You'd have a pin there. Yeah, you'd have a pin here. Queen would have to move back, and then you just grab another piece. Let's check this. Let's check this line out here, though. Okay. Yeah. Yeah, you have to always be on the lookout. Some players might actually. Oh, hold on. Let's do our London system work. We can't forget our work. All right. Let's see what we got here. Then we'll do some more tactics after that. Okay, so we're gonna work on our London system. So come on. Oh, maybe that's too much. Takes up too much of my screen. D4, D5, knight f3, knight f6, and then bishop to f3, f6, and then knight e, bishop. This is the old line here. There's the most modern line is actually out to d6. So bishop d. This is an interesting line. And I do agree that I've played this before. It's really it's a strong move. This is what he says though. He prefers the teacher prefers that the 5 C3 or C4. It doesn't matter. It really doesn't matter. You can play here or there, but this is more of a solid structure. Then if he plays there, you just you can bring your queen over, or I've played this, which is an interesting idea. Prepares B4, so the B4 push. But this, I've also played this as well. C5 is played, and then this is a dubious, kind of a dubious move. This right here. They're saying that this move, this takes right here, is actually a good. Oops. Yeah, sorry. Yeah, this. Sorry, that's right. They're saying this right here because this is the alternate line. This is the line that was played there. This is the alternate line. It's actually beneficial for white because yes, it destroys the pawn structure, but it forces black to actually take. See, black moved his bishop once already, and then now he can he has to move his bishop again here. And then you have, let me see here. Sorry, let me see. D takes C5. Okay, D takes C5. C takes D5. Oh, knight BD2. Okay. Castles. Yeah. And then A3, preparing A4. Knight C6. And you get into kind of what looks like a Queen's Gambit a little bit. Exactly. You're right on that, 100%. There's also a secondary line that's also really good for black in this line, which would be excuse me, knight. Let's see, do I have that right? Yeah, let me see. Bishop. Oh yeah, knight BD2. BD7 is actually. Oops. What in the world? What am I missing here? Hold on. Okay, that's the problem. It's not that move. Sorry, it's after here. It's after this move. They're saying this move here is actually an exclam move rather than bishop takes. Knight BD2 is BD7 is actually an exclam. Then what you do is you go B4 to protect the pawn on C5. He goes A5. Then you go knight. Oops, what am I doing? That's A5, not A6. A5. Knight C3. This gets an exclam mark. We're gonna just leave this line for you guys to kind of to go over. There's also what they're saying is the threat for another exclam would be if black took. If he actually took here, the knight would jump in here, potentially trapping the queen with bishop to c7 idea. So black actually sees the most proper move. This actually gets an exclam as well, because the only thing that would be trapping the queen would be the bishop, so the knight's going to remove the bishop. So bishop d6. He kind of wants to want to trade it off here. There's no point to that. If he trades off here, which he does, bishop takes, then what you can do is c takes d, a takes b, and knight b5, which now this idea of knight c7 is possible to fork the rook. So black's gonna have to castle. It's a must. d2, queen d2, and let me see, rook a4 to hold this pawn, because he's got to hold that, and then c4 is playable. B takes c, and c2 with that idea there. Knight c5. One second. Knight c5. What am I missing here? Did I move something incorrectly? Where did I? b5. So let's see. Hold on. Okay, 4. Okay, c4. b4, c2, c5. Knight c5. Oh, here we go. I knew and it's right there. And then bishop takes pawn, check, and the king is forced to move. And then you have knight takes the pawn attacking the rook, and it's very imbalanced position here. But it is possible for it to come about. So if you're interested, instead of that move, c takes is actually best. So that's kind of dubious, has really no point in play. But white's very blessed that black played a dubious move as well. He played a bad move. It's not a bad move. It's like a null move. It has no point. This right here, they're saying is actually best. This gets an exclam right here. This is more of an exclam idea. It's kind of awkward because if you could play here. That's playable. If you take there, then you have to kind of move, and you have that there, and that stops a lot of threats. You're gonna have to play there, and it's kind of different, let's just say. c3, c4, bishop takes, a takes, bishop c2. Yeah, bishop c2. Hold on. That's right so far. b5. And then if we played like what we talked about, a3, it says potentially you have b4 right away. And if you take, you take, and you can't take back because he wins a rook. So you're kind of in a problem at that point. So white, well, he didn't play that, so white played knight bd2, which was very blessed. It's a normal line. Then black castles and h4 with a interesting attack. This is our friend Harry going up the board. Yeah, by using the h-pawn, you're able to implant a knight to g5, and if he plays h6, potentially he could be in a world of hurt if he takes, because you could take back and then have a bishop check. So they're saying that if h6 is played, there's knight e5, and if takes here, you have g4, and then g5 is an idea. But you'd have to be careful of this pawn. So That's kind of a move line that's potential. Black played a inferior move instead of h6. Sorry, he played g4, which is a mistake. There's a couple lines. Let me see here. If knight d7, you have. Oh, hold on. Trying to see this. Give me a sec. I want to make sure I'm doing this line right. Okay, h4. So if he plays, okay, knight d7. Knight e5. Wait a second. Okay, they're saying that castle is okay. Knight e5 is what they're saying is playable. Then, if he plays here to double attack the knight, you go bishop h5 with a mate threat here on h7, g6, queen h3. Oh, wait a second. Is this queen? Is it queen? No, it's sorry. It's not queen h3. That would be a bad move. I think what he's talking about is queen to h. Then knight takes. It's a little confusing, some of his writing. Well, basically, it sets up for, if I'm not mistaken, if he plays like that, what you're going to do is set up here, h6, and then after that, you once this, if you're able to play here and get that taken off, you do have an attack there. It's interesting play, so we'll just keep going because there's a huge line, and then he has inside of quotes more lines, and it's kind of confusing where each move line continues. So we'll just keep moving down the board. So I'll just delete this because I'm not sure if that's correct. This is, though, this actually comes from the game knight g4, which is a mistake on black's side. He should have played, actually no, that's not a mistake. Let me see here. If we play after e5, if we did e5, that's applicable. So we didn't do that. What he played was a this is the Greek gift. That was a really not a very good move idea. King takes, and then g5 comes in, and if takes here, takes there, we can actually take back and with check, and then play queen takes the knight. That's an interesting line there. Queen takes g is what was played. Yeah, he kind of was. Black was shocked at this exchange. It's the Greek gift. He was kind of shocked, and so h takes g check. g6 was played. Queen takes, and rook h8. At this point, surprisingly, I will give you guys kind of a, if you guys want to take a kind of stab at this, what potentially the winning line is for white. It's white to play here. White wins and black resigns. It sets up for a mating net. So I'll let you guys see if you can solve this. What move would be the best? in this line. It's white to move, and it sets up for a mating net, but this move was played by white, and black instantly resigned because he didn't want to see what would actually happen. So it's white to move, and black resigned. It sets up a mating net. Oh, nice job. Yeah, nice. That's right. Sweet find there. That's it. G takes. G takes. King F. And then there's your mate. Yep. So he resigned at that point. They're saying that rather than this move here, rather than we're going to do what was supposedly the best line for black to somewhat hold on, which would, it says that E5 is potentially the best line, and then H5, King F5, H3 with an, this is an exclam, this is a line that I think that still would end in, if I'm not mistaken, mate G6, and then queen to, let's see here, so G6, so H3, that's check. That's weird. It shows that he went to G6 and didn't show a check here. That's different. He would have to move back. I think what he was talking about is that if he goes to G6, I think that's what that he was talking about. I think he made. I think there might have been a slight typo. I think this is the mate. And rather than G6, I guess he has to play G6, doesn't he? Yeah, so there's a mate still on the board even after that. I was thinking about what would happen if that was played, but here I still think we have mate though. Yeah, I think that's still mate. Even F5 is mate. I really don't see any other I don't see really any other lines that, and if he doesn't move forward but moves back, we'll take a look at this line. It doesn't show this line, but let's say that he moves back here. You now can actually take, and if he plays here, then you lock that down, so he can't play there. If he plays here, now you have that, and he's mated. So I think at the takes here, he would have to, if I'm not mistaken, play rook to E8, and then you'd have to play there, and then if he plays here, you'd have to take, and then potentially you have that, and then probably rook would have to come up at that point. I'm not sure what would actually happen after that. I'll leave this open for you guys kind of to take a look at if he moved back. You guys probably can work that out. I'm not sure what he would actually do after that. You'd have to work out the line. But this is what he says, that you have to, the summary is you have to be careful. Black has to be careful back here when he moved his knight to G4. You have to be careful when you do that you don't leave H7 on pre. You also have to be careful when your opponent goes H4, so that you don't end up in a mating net setup. And you have to also be careful when your opponent plays bishop to d3. That's kind of a move that's setting up for a potential Greek gift. And you have to also be really careful when which side you castle on when the pieces are all pointing that way. And remember that sometimes queen b6 rather than developing your minor pieces might actually be beneficial in that situation. But that's kind of what the wrap up is about. And so we will do some puzzles now. What we could do, let me see. Let's see, we'll do some puzzles. We'll work on some puzzles since we got our study in for the London system. We're going to try to work through this book here, Play the London System, and so we're going to be going through that and learning and kind of talking through it and getting better in our London play. Because it was actually played in Your Next Move. It was actually played in the tournament Your Next Move, and it was played by Nakamura. And he almost, I don't know if he, I didn't get to watch the end of it. I'll have to go back. But I think he almost checkmated Anish Giri with the London system. So I think it might have went to a draw. I'm kind of don't really remember. Let's see here. What would be our move sequence line? Trying to see if what we're missing here. Trying to see. I think we can win both rooks. Well, maybe after we win both rooks, we just retreat our rook back. That might be the idea. Now we just retreat back here, guarding this pawn. And potentially that might be it. Trying to see if there's anything more than just winning the rook pair. Do you guys see anything that potentially is better than that? I don't really see anything except winning the rook pair, because we really can't move. Yeah, I know, but I'm trying to see if there's anything else that's plausible. I don't really see really anything. Because if we tried here, the pawn just takes. If we try there, his rook takes, and we really don't acquire anything. So I think that has to be the only line that wins anything. I really don't see anything else that we can use. I know we're close to trapping the queen, so at that point, I think that if we played here, I'm sorry, if we play here, here, sorry, stop that. Here, 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 here. We have rook to h1 with a double attack on the queen and knight. I think that's the only move. I really don't see anything that's more. I think that's it. I don't really see anything else that is what do you want to try it? Give it a go, because I believe that's the move. I'm like 98% sure on that. Because there's no other way we're gonna. Okay, I'll write it out. I'll write it out real quick. Queen takes, so that you guys can see it. E8, check. Rook takes E8, and then we play rook takes E8, check. King F7, rook E4, and if knight takes H4, rook rook H1, and there's a pin on. Queen with the knight with the knight here. So what do you guys think? It's and then I'll say it for you guys too. Queen takes E8, rook takes E8. Our rook takes E8 check. King goes to F7. Yeah, I'm thinking that it's. And then if he takes here, that actually wins on the spot, because he's gonna have to play there, and then we can actually check. Yeah. They're saying queen there. Well, then what you do is you just reroute your knight. Yeah, I kind of see what they're talking about now. I think that's more than a 2000 puzzle, but that's just me. I think that you had to have seen a little more than 2000, but maybe it is a 2000 puzzle. Sometimes two rooks are better than a queen, and when there's only one open file that it could be dominated, and the king's there, sometimes they're better. Trying to see if we can't get rook to c5 to work. What do you think, Fox? What do you think, guys? Do you think rook takes c5 is a good move? I believe that is. And then if he plays rook takes c5, so I'm thinking that this potentially is a line. Rook takes c5. Rook takes c5. Rook takes c5. It's kind of something like that. But yeah, I did. I recently saw that. Yeah, then and then b4 loses on the spot. Ouch. Well, maybe we take once and then retreat the bishop. Maybe this is a line. Rook takes c5, and then rook takes c5. Bishop a6, a6. That might be a line. Or maybe instead of bishop a, maybe bishop. Maybe we can do bishop to d. Maybe bishop d7. Maybe the rook takes d5, c5, rook takes c5, and then bishop d7. But he doesn't have to so takes, and then here sorry, takes here. He does have knight to b3 though. And b takes, knight takes e, f takes e, and then, oh sorry, f takes e, then so that's kind of why I like that. If we take here and then we retreat back, we're fine. So rook takes c5, rook takes c5, and then bishop to d7, I believe is correct. See, if we take here, he takes there, and then we retreat back and we guard this point here. And there's no way that his tactics are going to work. I wouldn't retreat to bishop to e8. I'm thinking after all that line, bishop d7 is the line that holds everything. True, but remember he's threatening this here, and then after we take, he's threatening bishop takes. So I'm thinking because the queen guards this, it'd be a bishop guarding this and guarding that. And then later on, we could actually play rook takes knight if need be. And we're still fine. If we go after, but if let's say we take here, and then he takes there, and we run, he still can pick off a knight, I mean a rook, and then he also has a discovery on our other rook. So that's why I'm kind of thinking that we have to exchange and bring the bishop back for defense. That's why I'm thinking we have to exchange at least one of our pair of rooks off, and then see from there. Because I only see a sitch with that. Like you're 100% right with that line, but I think we're still okay if we take, because then he could play bishop. Well, maybe we are okay. And then if he takes here, we could take back. Maybe we are okay after that. Maybe I'm wrong on that line. Because I'm trying to see if we take here, he takes there, we take there, bishop takes, we come up, he takes, we come back, and so we'd have that, and that, and he would have that, we'd have this, and then he would have that. So I think we'd be up in exchange in that line. I do think you're right on that. And the worst that could happen if we take here, he plays there, we push, he takes, and then we take, and we're attacking his knight. So I really don't see anything wrong with, now that we think about it, well, if we do take, he does have the queen entry point here. So like if we take here, and then let's say he moves, we play here, he takes, and then bishop takes. He may have, after the knight moves back, he may have queen to a5, but I think that's totally long distance. I really don't see that we really have to worry about that at the moment. We could just take with the, after we take with the bishop, he moves back. This is a puzzle for sure. Oh, not a problem. Yeah, put the line in because I want to see, because there's two kind of ways he can play. He can either play there after we take, or he could play up there. So that's kind of the on routes that I'm kind of looking at. I really don't think he would. I think he would probably play pawn takes, knight takes pawn in that line. So I believe that probably the pawn takes line is correct. Good water. And the puzzle number, if you guys were wondering, is this. Because this is a pretty good one to kind of look at if you guys were thinking about looking at it. Let's see, 4, 7, 8. I believe that's the puzzle number if you guys want to kind of take a look at it on your training. Huh. So maybe taking actually is best here. So let's give that a shot, because I think you're right. I think you're right on that line. Yeah, because if he takes here, we just move our king up, and if he takes there, oh, we take with the queen. Okay, we take with the queen, and we're up 2 pawns. Yeah, and then we'll take a look at at this line to see what the sitch is, and if he takes here, we probably retreat back. Oh, we could just take there. Huh. Wow. Oh, rook E. So rook E and bishop D. F5. E takes D5. Queen H6. A5. A6. Bishop takes E6. Knight takes E6. Pawn takes E6. Rook takes. Check. Check. If he goes here, that's a mistake because you have check. Check. Yeah. It's kind of weird. It goes towards a draw at that point. Not a problem. Yeah, we'll see. We'll see what this one is. We'll do one more, then I gotta log off. We'll give one more. Alright. Okay, dokie. Let's do this thing. Let's do this thing. Okay. Okay, so the knight comes, let's see. Okay, he takes a pawn, basically. He takes a pawn. I'd love to play that, but, Well, maybe this actually does work, now that I think about it, because then if queen takes, we have bishop, bishop there. Yeah. Let's see, is there any other way to save it? Nope. Oh, snap. You gotta be kidding me. Let me see. Oh, snap. I should have seen that, because he would, if I took here, he could take there. I moved too fast, yeah. That was my fault there. We'll do one more. One more. Yeah. We'll do one more. Yeah, I didn't calculate that. I should have looked at that. Hey, it teaches me that even if a move looks simple like that, make sure why they move like that. That'll help me in over the board games. So I gotta remember to do that. Or even online games, either one. Ask the question, why did he move that? And you can't go wrong on that. Hey, how you doing? Boy, this is kind of an awkward setup here. Because if we take the bishop on f5, his queen comes to f7 with check. Then he's going to rip off all of our, he's going to rip off both rooks. Yeah, that wouldn't turn out as pleasurable as we would think it would be. We could play, now that we think about it, this might actually be an idea. That if he takes here, we take there. So let's see, if we play here, we can't do that because our queen would hang. So I'm thinking it has something to do with taking the rook here. And then takes here. And then, once we go here, we go here. And then if he tries up there, we can actually play there. I think we win both rows. Yeah, I think that's the move. Yeah, I believe you're right on that, Fox. I believe that's the move sequence. And we also can pick off. We can also win at that point. Let's see, because here, 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 there, and let's say that he retreats. We're just going to say he retreats his bishop back. I think we can jam a knight, if I'm not mistaken, into here too. So if we played here, there, there, there. Let's say he retreats back here, right? We could just jam a knight right there and clog up the whole system. That's funny. That's funny. That's funny. Resign. That is funny. As long as there is a piece on the board, we never resign. Never. No, it's just a joke. Don't worry. You know what? You gotta keep trying because you never know. Your opponent might make a inaccurate move and you pull a draw. So, just as long as you have enough material on the board, just, you know what? You take it to the end game. Sometimes you can win there. I really don't see anything better. Yeah, so I think we just take there. I believe we just take the rook. And he probably is going to take back. Sorry, if we take here, if he takes back there, we have a check, so we can actually check. When he moves, we can actually take potentially there. Let's see. Rook takes. Hold on. Rook takes. Bishop takes. Rook takes. Check. King h2. Rook 8 a1. Queen takes there. Let me see then. Queen takes f7. And I think we could check, but I think he might be able to run. We could just bring our rook back like we did before and just guard here too. There's no real reason to push beyond our bounds. We could just and then just bring the rook back here, attacking the bishop, and say, you know what, we're doing real good. There's really no reason to do anything. Yeah, I think that's right. Yeah, we'll end it here. This is perfect. And then if he plays up here, you just retreat all the way back. And you know what? There's no real reason to push it. You know what? Our position is really good. So if he retreats back there, you just jam a knight right in there. Next time you double up and you set up for a mating net. So, and then what you can do at this point is, I'd probably just double up if it was me. And he'd have to move back there. Potentially you have that. So that's kind of what I would play. But do you have any other lines you want to look at? Like, let's look at that one line here. Hold on. Let's see. Let's say we played here. Wait, it actually likes that line? Snap. Okay, we are talking about that. Oh, wow. Oh, sweet. Look at that. Wow. That is nice. So he's gonna have, he can't take, he's gotta move there. And there's mate. Oh boy. Now we just jam knight right into this pocket here, and there's no infiltration anymore. Points. Oh wow, the queen is about to collapse. So we win the he has to give the queen up and we win. Yeah, white's having a bad day for sure. Do you have any other lines you want to look at, Fox? Alright. Well, with that, guys, thank you all for logging on, spending your time. We're getting back. We did good. That was fun. You know what? We had the right idea with the rook. That can both lines I think would have been okay. You know, I think we might have gotten more points if we had played that other line, but we could have gotten it wrong too. The computer might not have actually liked that. It liked our line, so we got 2 points, and that's all that matters. We got it right. You know what? And remember, always check your lines too. Don't just think that the line's good because it plays out. Make sure why your opponent moved that move so that you know. Because I missed that simple queen could take the bishop when we just should have taken the bishop and then taken the knight. So just keep that in mind. You don't want to lose a game because you don't see the entire board. Remember, every day is a diamond. Use your mind that the Lord has given you. And always remember, like Hannibal Smith said in the A-Team, it's not seeing a plan, it's seeing what your opponent's going to do before they even do it. That's a plan, he said. And if we can follow that, and we know what our opponent's going to do before they even move on the chessboard, that is like what the grandmasters say. That Bobby was asked how many moves did he see ahead? One more than his opponent, and it was always the right one. And so I'll leave you with this thought, guys, as Wesley So says, through the Lord Jesus, as I say, God bless, and I'll see you next time on Chess Cruncher TV. Have a blessed morning, afternoon, and evening, and I'll be back on, Lord willing, tomorrow. So keep studying chess and doing good, and be blessed, guys. Bye-bye.